All right, guys, we are on week 2. So weeks 1 through 4 are going to be following most of the same technique and strength progression. So we're not really going to go too much into trying to talk about the nuances because for the most part, we're trying to develop the strength, the motor patterns, all that good stuff. Big things that are going to be changing though are going to be the conditioning workout. So just to touch real quickly on the pull day, as we're building through that technique, our 1, 2, 3 big pulls, weeks 3 and 4, we're going to be really trying to get that to where we're ending in a kipping pull up. So just be really focusing on as you get that pull down to really be trying to pull as hard as you can with those lats and that straight arm pull. On the push days with the technique for the handstand push-ups, just make sure everything is stable overhead, everything feels good, all that good stuff. So now let's get into the conditioning pieces. So for your first day, we're gonna have 3 rounds. This one is gonna be for time. It should be a little bit faster. It's going to be 12, 10, 8 of 12. So it'll be first round. Sorry, let me back up. 3 rounds, that's gonna be the rep scheme. It'll go 12 double dumbbell deadlifts, 10 burpees, 8 push press. So for this, you're going to be going lower than you typically would with a barbell since you have your dumbbells. So one of the ways is kind of grabbing towards the back of the dumbbells so that when I come down, they're closer to the ground, come back up. Same thing, we want that as with a typical deadlift, we want our back to be straight, hips, we're still hinging at our hips, push back through. Our feet are gonna be nice and close together because we don't wanna be crushing our feet right there. Then we go into 10 burpees and then go into our 8 push press like we did last week. So the big thing with this is it's 3 rounds, but the volume is working against itself. So the deadlifts, since we are gonna be going farther down, our back is gonna get a little more activated. The good news is it's lightweight, so it shouldn't be too bad. Going into burpees though, a lot of people think, oh, it's a pressing movement, it's a leg movement, but when you start building the volume and when you start complementing it with a exercise like the deadlift, you'll really start to feel it in your back. Usually it'll kind of be more of that pump feeling, but just make sure on your deadlifts especially, you've got that straight back, we've got good form. It is 3 rounds, so the volume shouldn't be terrible, but just something to pay attention to as you're doing the workout. If you need to, as you're getting to the round, second or third round, take a couple deep breaths before going into your burpees, even if everything feels right, because this is one of the things we're gonna be, with our conditioning workouts, especially in the Metcons, you're playing 2 things against each other. The first one is gonna be, can my conditioning keep up? The lungs, the heart, all of that. And then the other side is, what about my muscular conditioning? So that would be something to pay attention to. The other side is gonna be just the pressing through the burpees. So making sure that you might want to roll this one, make sure you're emphasizing that roll up a little bit more, just because we are gonna be using a lot of the pressing muscles in the push press as well. Day 2, we're gonna be doing 3 rounds. And this is gonna be more, it is gonna be for time again, but we're gonna try and have these days more as almost like an interval day, or we're gonna have a planned rest period and then go at it again. So again, 3 rounds, but this time it's gonna be 30 air squats, 20 dumbbell snatches, and 10 box jump overs. So for this, 30 air squats, not complicated, we know how to do air squats, but make sure that we're cycling through them. So if, as you get comfortable squatting to depth, one of the things that we can start doing is even using our arms to try and make that cycle rate faster. What that looks like is when I come down, my arms are back, and my arms come through. So I'm here, here, and it's just a small little thing, but it helps create a little bit of momentum. Dumbbell snatch, so we did this one last week. I want you guys to be really dialing this in as far as technique, because this is something you can create a lot of speed on and generate a lot of power through while maintaining good form, but we don't want to throw form out the window for speed. So always start with form and we'll go from there. But the big thing is, like we talked about last week, starting with that dumbbell, and we're gonna be pulling it in that straight line. I'm not pulling necessarily with my arms. I want to be engaging from my hips. So down, pull, 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 right? 20 of those, and then 10 box jump overs. So the difference between a box jump and a box jump over is on a box jump, we're standing up at the top. Congratulations, you finished your rep. box jump over. We'll have you guys step down. Like I said, we don't need to be rebounding yet. If you want to do these sideways, you definitely can. But jump on the box, step down. Box jump overs, we don't need to stand all the way up because the goal is to go over rather than stand all the way up. And we've got 10 of those. Then you get a minute 30 rest. So the idea is that we can get through 30 air squats, 30 to 45 seconds right there, be able to go into the dumbbell snatches. These I want to keep, ladies, let's do 35 pounds, guys, let's do 50. If you need to scale, absolutely do so. But the idea is we want to be pushing this pace pretty well because we're going to have that 1 minute and 30-second rest after each round. So the idea is to go hard, recover, go hard again, recover, and do it one more time. Third day, we're going to be doing another EMOM, 24-minute EMOM again. This time it's going to be 12 burpees, 12 V-ups, 30-second jump rope. If you don't have a jump rope, then if you've got a conditioning piece like a rower, bike, assault bike would be terrible, but it's probably a good thing. And then 6 dumbbell thrusters. So we should, for this thruster, you're going to start in the front rack, squat down, and then push press it overhead. We've got 6 reps for this one. It's not that much, and it's intentional for 2 reasons. 1, it's a place for you to catch your breath in the EMOM, but also 2, because we're starting to introduce this movement, I want to make sure that we can go light, we can keep the reps low to make sure that we've got quality reps. So when bringing my dumbbells to the top, they'll be resting on my shoulders, squat down to depth, and press them overhead. This is going to be the same thing as our wall ball throws. So once again, and it'll be all written out, 24 minutes, 12 burpees, 12 V-ups, 30 jump rope, 6 dumbbell thrusters. All right, day 4, 10-minute AMRAP. For this one, we're gonna be hitting, we're gonna be progressing through this AMRAP, which means each round we're gonna be adding a rep, and we're just gonna start at 1. We're gonna do 1 box jump, 1 knee raise. And for this, like we talked about last week, the big thing to focus on is going to be pulling through your lats. So when I'm here on the bar, I can just throw my knees up. The idea though is, especially as I build the volume, I want to be pulling my arms straight back like we do on our pull day to really get used to and progress into being able to do full toes to bar. So what this workout is going to look like. We're gonna have, if you set a timer for 10 minutes, 15 seconds, once that 15 seconds runs off, you hit go. It'll be 1 box jump. 1 hanging knee raise. 2, 2, 3, 3, and you get as far as you can in that 10 minutes. This is gonna be a lot of volume for these 2 movements right here. The good news is, especially, it gives you a lot of volume to really work on being able to pull with that straight arm and work into our progression for toes to bar. For the box jumps, make sure that you're stepping down each time, but also we're really working on that explosiveness up to the top. All right, day 5. This one is going to be 4-time. We're gonna try and do 2 4-time workouts, one at the beginning of the week, one at the end. This one is gonna be longer. This one today, we're gonna be running 600 meters, doing 30 lunges, and by lunges I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got 30 of them, and then 15 push-ups. Run 400 meters, 20 front rack lunges, 10 push-ups, run 200 meters, 10 front rack lunges, 5 push-ups. So it's descending, but the amount of work that you're doing, especially at the start, it is a good chunk. Look at this in terms of total volume that you're doing. Took this from Matt Frazier as far as when he's approaching some of these workouts, it's not about, okay, what can I do on a 600 meter interval or what can I do on a 400 meter interval for my time? But if I'm looking at this and saying, okay, I have, what is this, 1,200 meters worth of work. So it's just under a mile. What would I be holding if I were running just under a mile? And remember, you're having to continue with this. So the lunges, I want these to be done in the front rack as well. So what that means is we talk about this being our farmer's walk lunges. Our front rack is going to be up on the shoulders. The way I like to have it done, because it gets easier than being in a shoulder press position, is I'll push those dumbbells up onto my shoulders and just shove them against my head. All right, So from there, lunge, lunge. I want you guys to get comfortable in that position because it is a very efficient lunging position, and that movement pops up in the open. So I want you guys very comfortable with grabbing dumbbells, flipping them up, shoving them against your head, and going. You'll see some people when they get to the open, all of a sudden it's like, all right, I've got to do my lunges, and they've got to be in a front rack. So all of a sudden now they're wasting several seconds doing this awkward shove them up, compared to if you're used to hit the shoulders, shove it against my head, go. And then there are corners on this thing, so don't clash your head with these and split your head open. But be confident, especially just getting it to your shoulders, finding the spot against your head, and be able to go from there. So like I said, this one, I'm assuming it's gonna be a little longer because we're gonna be blowing everything up in the legs with the run, hitting it again in the lunges, giving you a second of recovery in that lower body with some push-ups, but in the end, your cardiovascular system is going to be under fatigue the entire time. So like we talked about last week, make sure, come in off the run, I want you to pace it to where you can come off and grab those dumbbells and throw them up right away. Once you come off of the lunges, or even if you have to break them in half, set it down at 15, take several breaths, pick them back up, then finish the lunges, take several breaths before going straight into the push-ups. This does not mean take like 30 seconds rest. We're trying to keep this rest shorter. We want to be able to kind of just calm everything down for a second and then go. That's it for this week's conditioning pieces. Obviously, like we talked about last time, there's going to be no conditioning piece for our bench day. That's the one that is left off. I would love your guys' feedback on these workouts, so please put them in the comments or shoot them to me directly if you can. And I will see you next week.